Hello everyone, my name is Megan Marie and I'm the Senior Community Manager at Crystal Dynamics, and we are here today to talk about Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And I am joined by two guests. We have Game Director Danielle Shea-Besson, and we also have Senior Brand Director Rich Briggs here. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. So we just saw the very exciting E3 trailer that we put together and debuted on the Microsoft stage on Sunday. Before we get to the Q&A a little bit later in the segment, can you guys chat with us a bit about putting the trailer together, what you were hoping to convey, and so on?
One of the things that was important for us is to convey as much as element as possible that you find in the game, and from an emotional perspective, from an emotional point. So one of the things you see there is really, it's really about the temptation and also the obsession, and you see that, the two sides of Lara. That is something we try to convey there. One side, it's more, more positive side, or one is more darker side, and this is really what we convey. And more importantly, though, is about emotion. This is what we want to showcase there.
Yeah.
I think it was really important to show that duality, and that's why we split the screen sometimes, but also to show that Lara's world is coming undone. It's fragmenting, it's turned upside down at times, because we want to make sure that our fans know that all the core pillars of the game that we always try and offer in experience for Tomb Raider, it's being elevated. So in this case, we're focusing a lot more on the narrative, because Lara, being the most confident, being the most capable she's ever been, we have to show that now her conflict is actually turning inside. So it's more inner conflict that's never been done, and that's what's going to be so critical on her path to becoming the Tomb Raider, is how she responds to that conflict.
Yeah, and people definitely picked up on the stylistic tone of the trailer. It's not something that we've done before, with this sort of kaleidoscope and mirrored, the duality visually represented. So that was something that a lot of people enjoyed, and the music too. The music was very cool. So the song was I Speak Louder. Is there a specific meaning behind that?
Well, we really felt like Lara's actions speak louder than words. And the idea that she does feel like she is the one person who can stop Trinity, she feels like she has, and we've seen over the course of her origin story, the fact that Lara is able to push herself beyond physical, mental, emotional limits and do things that most people can't do.
Yeah.
And that makes her feel like she's one of the few people that can stop Trinity. But as you'll see in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, it also leads to some mistakes, a little bit of rash judgment on her part. She feels like because she knows what's best, she's the one that's going to take the dagger. And in doing so, she unwittingly triggers that Maya apocalypse. And of course, that drives Lara, being who she is, to say, okay, now I have to set things right.
Absolutely. So we're going to take a quick step back before we get to the Q&A. We're actually going to talk about the reveal events. So this trailer was specifically for E3, but we put together this really cool, cinematic CG trailer for the reveal events. It was something we've never done before, is introducing the game around the world in these 3 reveal events. So do you want to talk a little bit about what it was like preparing those and the venues and getting ready to show off the game to people for the first time?
For the first time, it was nerve-wracking, of course. It was exciting but nerve-wracking, because I've been working. There's a lot of people working a long time. It's been 3.5 years now on the game, and it was very nerve-wracking. We talked about that, but what was great about it is just to feel the experience, because you're always inside of it. You only see the things and the details of it, things that not going great, things that going good, and you're like excited, like a roller coaster. But when you go to these events and you receive that much love from people and react, that was I would say very very exciting, refreshing, and rewarding for us. Also, the place was crazy, it was the jungle, and it was Day of the Dead elements, so it was very cool to go from the game to the real world, how it felt. So that was very cool.
Well, we really wanted to make sure that we were bringing people into our world.
Exactly.
Because as Dan said, it's a lot of hard work on behalf of the dev team, and so we said, all right, this game deserves something that we haven't really done before.
Yeah.
So having an event in London kick off first, and then a couple hours later have an event kick off in Montreal, and then another one. It was like we were chasing that sun, chasing the eclipse, and then another one kicked off in LA. So having all 3 sets of fans and community and press and influencers all come in and experience it all at the same time. I'm really excited that we revealed a lot more information than we normally do. Letting people know not just the date, not just the key art, but what we were doing with the season pass, what we were doing with the pre-orders. We wanted to make sure that we were really being as transparent as possible and bringing our fans into our world like never before, and that's why, as Dan said, it was great to walk into each one of these spaces and see them just decorated like a jungle, like a Maya civilization.
Yeah, so in London at the event, the venue was this really cool rundown old chapel that was covered with jungle, vines, and had a Day of the Dead sort of experience in it. Montreal, it was this kind of cool hip club, but again, at the same time, it had been converted into a jungle. And then you can't get much more thematically appropriate than the Mayan, which is a well-known venue here in LA. And so that one was already decked out with Maya architecture and was very cool. So rather than just talking about it, we're actually going to show you a little bit of what the events look like. So we're actually going to play a video recap of our reveal events now. So we'll take a look. So that was pretty cool. As you can see, there was lots of people there. I was particularly proud. We got 60 of our 100 fan sites out to one of the 3 events. They could see it, which was really cool. We had our cosplay ambassadors, 6 super fans from around the world, actually 7 super fans who made their own costume before even the game had been revealed, which was a hard-kept secret for them, I know. So the reason that we wanted to show this video is because we have another video that we have not revealed yet that needs some context, but we're actually going to present it without context first.
Yeah, world premiere.
World premiere of some funny footage that maybe you guys, well, we know you haven't seen before. So we're actually going to roll this other one. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Hi Los Angeles, my name is Daniel Bisson. Tout le monde m'appelle Bisson, mon nom c'est Daniel Chaillet, je suis obligé de mettre Bisson à mon nom. Bon. Hi London, my name is Daniel. As you already know by now, ça c'est 3. Tomb Raider that she has to become. Boom. Je viens d'avoir un. On va te faire ça en petit flow. On va avoir peut-être 2-3, puis on va être correct. C'est correct? Au niveau vêtements, c'est correct. Tout est beau, chapeau, toute la patente.
Voilà. Blanc chiant, c'est ton chapeau là.
Je fais quoi avec mes mains? Je peux tirer ça de même?
Ouais.
Ok, parfait. Alright, correct. Very personal journey, blah 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 blah. Experience, bro. Ouais, c'est ça, c'est bon. And I cannot tell you. On Shadow of Tomb Raider. Myself. Jason. J'arrive pas à me concentrer. Désolé, mais Jason. Il faut que je fasse ça. Ça fait juste 2 heures. Damn you! I hate you. You guys today. J'étais parti. Je vais l'avoir. Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Sadly, I cannot be with you guys today. And but also very. Yes, because I have a text to say. Stop disturbing me so I can finish it. She's gonna be nothing, because that's not what I'm supposed to be saying. Never seen before. Non, moi je suis tout fou dans mes lignes. Là, chez moi, là, parce qu'il y a plein de monde qui passe, ça parle super fort partout. J'arrive pas à me concentrer. Bon. Je vais penser à des petits moutons, là, quelque chose. Là. Game director at Eidos Montréal. Los Angeles. I cannot tell you enough. Tu vas faire les montages de jump cut? OK. J'aurais pu essayer, c'est juste qu'ils sont juste là en train de jaser, comme ça se peut pas.
Okay, first,
I love that.
we have to say, Dan, you are an awesome sport for letting us show that. Thank you so much. Rich, do you want to provide some context?
So all we needed was for Dan to record a 30-second welcome message for each one of the 3 launch events, or the announcement events, because obviously, as much as we would love to clone Dan, he couldn't be in all 3 places. So we said, okay, so Dan, you're going to be there in Montreal. That's the home base, but we just need a quick 30-second video of you welcoming everybody in Los Angeles, and we'll use it again in London. And little did we know it was 2 hours to get that message. But
in
Dan,
all fairness,
the finished
hard.
product
Yes.
was unbelievable. I will say that. The finished product was unbelievable, but getting there was something else.
But that's the thing is, English is my second language. It's not my first one, and of course, we're ending in production, meaning that we're crunching.
Yeah.
It looked like cursing was your third language.
But then they're like, okay, here's the text. And okay, all right, I'm going. I'm a good sport. I try to go. And then people ask me questions while I'm in front of a camera. People are speaking super loud. I was super tired.
You're just too valuable. They can't, stay away from asking you questions for that period of time.
But it was so funny though, because Jason, our narrative director, was behind. I need to shift that. But he was speaking super loud. So that was funny. I didn't know that he was going to do that, and
we didn't know there was going to be that much good material. So it necessity required a video.
So it took 2 hours. It was painful, but at the same time, it was fun.
The end product was awesome.
And like I said, to be fair, it is hard to rehearse. I mean, if it's not something that you do on a daily basis, it's hard to rehearse a script in front of the screen.
Yes, especially when it's not your first language.
Yes, exactly. So thank you for letting us show that.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the fan Q&A now. So we gathered questions from Twitter, and we're going to get through as many as we can in the 15 minutes that we have left. So the first one, I think, is very nice. Jar Cup asks, "How was your day today?"
The day today was
very nice to ask, right?
Yeah. Great day. It's crazy. We're doing a lot of things together.
You guys are the buddy team.
Buddy team. We're spending a lot of time together, Rich.
I love spending time with you, Dan. It's good.
So it's good. A very good day.
All right,
Awesome.
Day 1 of E3, and I think everybody's already feeling the energy. And they may have just.
Thank you, Jar Cup. I'd like to know, how was your day?
We'll look online. Respond to us, Jar Cup. Let us know how you're doing. We'll appreciate it. Okay, on to questions more specific to the game. So, Elysian Tony asks, previous games were about Lara finding clues about immortality. Will this one touch on the same theme?
This one is going to be a little bit more bigger and epic. This is something that, we are going to touch something that is about changing the world. So it's less about something that is about personal and trying to find what her father was trying to find at the time. But now it's much more bigger. It's the stakes of the world. So at the beginning, she doesn't know exactly what Trinity's after. But at a certain point, when she takes the dagger, when she's realizing, oh my God, this is not something just about personal thing, but it's much more bigger. That's what it's more about.
Okay.
And what I really like is that I look at Shadow of the Tomb Raider as absolutely being rewarding for all of our fans who have been there from the very beginning. You are going to see that thread of immortality because it's going to resolve into something that is even bigger. That this is what Trinity's been going for all along, is the idea of using the power of the apocalypse and those items and those artifacts in order to remake the world in their image and change the course of humanity. On the other side, it's a perfect jumping on point for people who maybe haven't played the previous games because you cannot get any bigger. You cannot have world stakes that are higher than trying to stop the Maya apocalypse. So if you're jumping off for the first time, this is the moment to do it. But for the fans that are looking at how are we resolving that thread of immortality, you'll absolutely see that continuing.
Yes, there's definitely a thread, but we cannot talk too much about it.
We don't want to spoil it.
All right, yes, we don't want to.
There is one, so...
That's what we try to avoid, some of the narrative questions that fans have. Some fans are asking about the end of the game. They're like, do you really want to know?
Sure.
I feel like
talk
you don't
to us
actually
after.
Want to know.
We'll just type up the
Spoil
ending
the
for
whole
you.
thing. No.
Lara wins. No.
Okay, next question. Next question is from Quinn6363, and they ask, how long after Rise of the Tomb Raider does the game take place?
It's 1 year.
1 year after Rise of the Tomb Raider,
1 year
correct.
after Rise of the
And we're really excited. There's a lot of side story things if you want. Obviously, not required reading. You know, if you haven't read them already, but we have the Dark Horse comic that actually is telling the story of how Lara has actually been training and preparing for the events of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, ready to take the fight to Trinity. So she puts herself through a lot after the events of Rise of the Tomb Raider. So we have the Dark Horse comics that talk about that. And then I think it's a really, we've done that in the past, right? We had Rise of the Tomb Raider happen a year after Tomb Raider, so you can have that transmedia, those side stories happen and show a little bit of Lara's growth, and then we did the same thing with Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Very cool. All right, Lobstercroft asks.
Great name, by the way.
I know.
Lobstercroft. All right.
Shadow is taking into consider on the events that have been happening. Okay, so this is about the comic books. So are the comic books essentially two separate universes, or are they actually going to tie in very specifically? They mentioned, a villain named Mr. Cruz.
She feels is right, or is she going to sometimes say the ends justify the means and become like the enemy she faces? So there's a lot of that duality, and again, we tried to show that in the gameplay reveal trailer. But this idea between the light and the dark, and the shadow has a lot of different layers of significance.
And the eclipse for that is really the climax of all that. It's the climax of the ultimate decision.
Great. Michael Frazier asked, how did Lara and Jonah manage to survive a plane crash without getting any injuries? So they're talking about the footage that we showed at the Square Enix press conference, which is the beginning of the game, but it's not necessarily the narrative beginning, right? So why don't you speak to that a little bit?
It's because everybody's dead after the plane crash, and it's just a dream after that. No,
Did you just spoil the entire
the entire thing is just a dream. So it's not...
We talked about this, Dan.
I know. I cannot hold it inside of me. The game is actually talking about it, how they survive about it, and there's a funny take to it. So I can wait for you guys to play it and experience it. But at the beginning, the plane crash actually happens 2 days. 2 days later than what happens at the beginning.
Yeah, and they will have some injuries too, just to be clear. Lara and Jonah are, they're not indestructible. Obviously, they do survive a lot more than all of us can survive.
But Jonah now can take a lot more.
Jonah can take a lot of punch. I love Jonah's new look.
Jonah's like
well,
you saw how
phenomenal character.
Laura beefed up a little bit on this. She bulked up for all the climbing and everything. So Jonah probably was looking at her like, okay, all right.
No, but imagine if I had to follow Lara for a year, I wouldn't be looking like that. I would be more looking like that.
Okay. All right. So this one I'm not going to attribute to any specific person because we had dozens and dozens and dozens of people asking if we're going to have a photo mode in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Patented Rich Briggs answer.
If we were to have one, we'd probably talk about it at a later event.
Yeah, I think that would be a good plan. All right, we'll leave it at that.
We like to listen to our fans, I'll say that much.
Yes, great. All right, so Alex H. says, will Lara ever smile or laugh in a Tomb Raider game? This is a funny, very direct question, but I actually really wanted you guys to speak to that, because she does.
Yes, she does. One of the first questions you ask her...
Don't spoil the moment, though.
No.
Don't spoil the moment. Yeah, you can't tell what happens.
Oh, okay.
No, you can answer, but don't spoil the moment. Answer, but don't answer.
Okay. Yes. A lot of times, yes.
No, so
she cracks jokes.
The game is very, it is her darkest hour and her defining moment and so on. But there are these moments of levity in the story where you get to see that Lara really is this kind of geek archaeologist, and she's there with one of her best friends, and I loved that. I love seeing.
And there's
that.
some lighter moments. Like this is one of the most. I've been working on the 2 previous games. There's moments in this game is even lighter than we've ever seen before. So.
And I think that's important. You have to balance the darkness, because this is absolutely Lara's darkest adventure, and how she pushes through that darkness will shape what her life is and what kind of Tomb Raider she'll become. Yeah. But you have to balance it with moments of levity, and otherwise it's a complete downer fest. So there are moments, and I'm not going to spoil it, but there is one moment in particular where I literally laughed out loud. I literally laughed out loud. And I don't think I've ever laughed out loud while playing a Tomb Raider game before. And every time I see this moment, I still laugh out loud. So I can't wait for fans to experience.
I love it.
These types of moments that really do not just show Lara with all this inner conflict, but Lara in many ways being in her element and doing what she does and what she loves best.
Great. All right, we're going to rocket through some more questions because we have just a little bit over 6 minutes. So
that
Jesse,
means we're talking too long. That's code. That's it.
I want to get in as many questions as we can. All right, so Jesse TR says, I was wondering how long the campaign is.
Comparable to the previous games. And then obviously once you complete the core experience, you will have dozens and dozens of hours to explore the world at your own pace and complete all the 100%.
Great. All right, so this one I'm so excited about, fans. I'm so excited. Okay, so Kyle says, I heard there are separate difficulty sliders for traversal, puzzle, and combat. If it's true, how will each affect gameplay?
Okay, fast. We have puzzles also for exploration and combat. You have easy, medium, hard for all of them because this game will have more Tomb Raider than ever. So we're focusing a lot on that. So for example, in terms of the gameplay for puzzle, remember on Rise, Lara was talking a lot about what you were supposed to be doing a puzzle. Now you have the same information on easy. On normal, she just talks about general things, and you still have instinct mode. But on easy, the next step, she's telling you exactly what to do and highlight in blue, so you don't have, if you don't like puzzles, you play for different reasons, exploration, you can put it at easy. Same thing with exploration. Remember the white paint on Rise? The white paint is only existing now in easy. So if you're playing normal, now the white paint is just blends with the world. So
and by the white paint, we were talking about like the navigation markers.
The navigation
so you know the
markers,
path, what can be climbed, what can't be climbed.
Exactly,
so
the white thing. And
you're on a
hard.
slider, you can choose whether or not you want to be guided through the environment.
Exactly.
So
hard
there's this group.
No.
There's this group on the forums called the Growl group, which is to get rid of white ledges, and this is for you guys.
There you go. Hard.
You're going to be, if you don't have it on easy, they will be gone, and you'll have to find your own traversal path, and you'll see it is actually harder than you would think.
And
there's
the
a lot of jumping.
The thing that I
find
love
out.
most about this, and just in case, just to make sure people understand, because a lot of effort went into this, each one of those sliders is on a separate scale.
So
if you want
hard
difficult combat but easy navigation and medium puzzles, you can do that.
You can do that, exactly.
And one thing that I'm also extremely excited about, and we'll get into this more at a later date, is it's also an accessibility feature, right? So if you need aim assist, you can put it on easy for combat, so that you can, have your reticle get a little bit sticky and make it easier for you to move through the space. And we actually do have dedicated accessibility features, which again, we'll put a whole blog together about this later, but you're going to be able to customize your play so much, and I love that. I love fans having the option to play the way that they want. So
absolutely
great, so excited about that. Okay, Paradox Huntress is asking, will she finally come face to face with the people in charge of Trinity?
We don't want to spoil too much, but we will say that you are absolutely going to really understand what Trinity's motives are and who the key players are in Trinity.
Great. All right. Piper Cameron says, basically, they're asking about Lara's hair not being tied up and if it's going to be an alternative style. So they're noticing in the screenshots and in the play, it looks like her hair is down when she's covered in mud. So do you guys want to talk a little bit about that?
There's two things. First thing, in this game, Lara doesn't care as much about her hair, so that's why her hair is going like a little bit like that. that's the thing. So she's more obsessed. She's more driven. No? The second thing is that when she puts mud, that's later on in the game, she doesn't also care about how she looks. So the hair is falling down, and it's really showing how the obsession bar is going. So when you see her hair going like that, it's like she doesn't care anymore.
It's almost like she's going feral. I mean, when we put the mud on, you're making a gameplay choice and you're making a decision about how you're going to play.
Exactly.
And that is Lara getting into that mindset of that Rambo in the jungle fantasy fulfillment.
Great. Okay, we had a couple of questions, one from Lara's Diary, another one from Piper Cameron, about the outfit customization in Shadow.
We explode that. Of course, you have the top and the bottom. You can mix match them. Now we have also the outfit that fits the type of gameplay you want to play. If you want to be much more on the exploration side, you have specific outfits bonuses for that. And if you prefer stealth or you prefer being about to be traversing better in the game, you can do that also. So it's not specifically like on Rise we had like fast regen on most of the outfit. Now we're pushing the gameplay elements even more to that, and you can mix and match.
Wonderful. Okay, let's see. We only have a couple left. So let's talk about stealth. We had a few questions, one from Loki and one from Rafa Amil, asking about stealth. What are the survival and stealth aspects that have been added from the previous games, and how does it factor into the jungle?
Yeah, the thing that I love is we have this idea of Lara becoming one with the jungle, and that can change the way you play. You obviously can play aggro if you want to, go the assault mode, but there are a lot more opportunities in stealth. And as you've seen from some of the gameplay footage that we revealed, you have an arrow that you can craft that will actually cause enemies to be what's called the Jaguar Fear, and they'll shoot blindly around them, perhaps killing some of their friends. The idea is that Lara is outgunned and outnumbered. Just like Lara is the most capable and calculating that she's ever been, Trinity also as well. They are bringing as much as they can to this fight. It is the stakes of the world. And so we have to up the odds in many ways. And so we give you more opportunities for stealth. And the other thing is that we allow you, if you do what we call pop the bubble and go into assault or get spotted, if you hide or
Yep.
go up into the canopy, the soldiers will eventually go back to just a normal patrol, which is new for Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Right.
So you can re-engage on your own terms at stealth. It's really summarized by Lara becoming the Jaguar woman, striking out of the jungle and then disappearing back into it, really becoming one with the jungle.
Very cool. I think we only have time for one more question. And so Venus asks, this isn't the last Tomb Raider game, right? Right? All caps.
I will answer it with all caps.
Go ahead.
Right, right, right,
What do you think?
right.
All right, that's a Rich Briggs answer.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that basically is all the time that we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow. We have another Square Enix Presents segment with Camilla Luddington and Earl Balin, which is going to be really exciting. We're going to play Survival Would You Rather with them, so be prepared to be grossed out with questions about what you would rather eat from the Amazon. And then we'll also be at E3 Live in the Coliseum in the afternoon for a really cool performance and narrative cinematic panel. So thank you for watching, and keep an eye on our social channels for more information throughout the show. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.